Today is day 226 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you'd like to sponsor upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, we'd be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we emerge out of Simon Kuf Nun Tes and we go into Simon Kuf Samech. Today we're doing Kuf Nun Tes Lamed Hey till Kuf Samech Daled. Sif Daled. They seem to be getting longer. Okay, Lamed Hey. If you dip your hands into waters of a spring, I feel about it, I'm sorry if there's 40 saw, also tefillah is valid. The ma'ayon tar matar b'kosher feel gufa. The ma'ayon, a spring is matar for matter what the shear, even for his body. The kosh came to them silly for the time. But you kasu by my call the pasachas as long as all of his hands are covered by the water in one shot. If you dunk your hands in mikveh water, that'll make shamim, which is rainwater. Some would say you need 40 so like you do need for traveling your body. But some say that law is like a maya. The time they came here, talking about being and the reason they give this is that the raisa, according to many Rishonim, you can travel kalim like pins and needles in a mikveh, which even has only a revius of water. The Rabbanim bitlu, Rabbanim negated this. School Rabbanim saw, Rikar 40 saw, Gam Kanan, come for be there, some Rishal. And Ben tells the Rabbanim, but this time, which is only the Rabbanim, some Kanan Gam Chatchila. We also rely on Chatchila, on rainwater in the ground, even doesn't have a shear of 40 saw. And we mentioned this previously. This is the primary locha. It's probably a machmer, but not strictly speaking. Somebody who, it seems Sharatin actually is more Mako. Not sure about that. We'll see. Somebody who's going down the road. The age slow. Eno Keli. He doesn't have a vessel. He can throw his hands in a puddle of rainwater or a small pool of rainwater. As long as both of his hands will be covered by the water. The Mishnah Berurah point says about this that b'di'evad or shas you can be meko. Nevertheless, if you can find water, additional water, second time, you should wash without a bracha. Since most Rishonim passel rainwater is less than 40 saw. Although it seems here that most of the post game are machshir. Mishnah Berurah also writes that even though you can theoretically tovel your hands, well, actually, it's coming up afterwards. Let's leave this end of the safe here. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. The water has to be stationary. One place is a little zochli and not flowing. The mikveh and rainwater mikveh may not flow. May not be moving. He says make rainwater which is flowing. They are flowing and not gathered. If they do have 40 saw, even if they're flowing, it's just stopping to the perhaps tefillah, it works. Between the zochlim postim, tefillah's kalim. But on the other hand, the reason why it would be no good is because zochlin is possible even for tefillah's kalim. Unlike the revius of stationary water. Mishnah Berurah says you could theoretically travel hand by hand, but the shear of the water has to be sufficient to put both hands in at the same time. It's just like by tefillah saguf, you need a shear to cover your entire body. So by tefillah times, it's mitzvah to travel both your hands. If you don't have a vessel, you should have a shear for both hands for both one mitzvah. But again, the Arukh HaShulchan seems to say that you dafka specifically should do it two hands at once. Lamavav. Kasab Rambam, the Perak Vav, may brachas din hey. Anybody requires this to die, and dunk his hands in mikveh, ain't served ever acher, that's it. That's enough. You be a mind shame by sheer mikveh, you can throw them in water, which is not the sheer in mikveh, mayim shum karka, or drawn water in the ground, lo asa klum. Mayim shubim b'tarim yadayim, elma tila. Drawn water only is good for this time if you use a vessel. If there's no shear in the mikveh, these bars so the sifa koydim shechokolav. Think about it. If it's rainwater and it's in the ground, so there's no shear because it's like a mayan in this for tefillas yadayim. And you show even that which he passes. Drawn water in the ground. It's true. In that case, you need 40 saw, but still, shuvim would work if you have 40 saw. Karen the Baal Shabbat Karen Toilim Bilam, since we have a locha that about carry is Yosei Tfilas Ezra, that Tfilas do in 40 saw Maim Shubin. Because Moshe Shini was Perches, Kisheng Am is time between, therefore they're also sufficient for washing hands through Tfilas Yadayim. Shuvashim Shichul Kula, and if you have drawn water, which you drawn water is shows shuvim, but you put it on the ground so it flows into the hole in the ground. Gam the Rambam, Rambam, that is good for Tfilas Yadayim. Shubur says that if you since it's a machleka, so therefore if you did use Maim Shuvim, right? So then you should, if you get a chance, you should go back and make a netilah without a bracha. The Gra adds also that's true also about that's true about Meg Shamim, which are Zochlim as well. The Arukh HaShulchan seem to passel Maim Zochlim altogether, and the Gra also passels Maim Zochlim, flowing water, where it's not from a spring altogether. Lamed Zayin. Nimtzah Kasab B'Lashon Zeh. We find this something written like this. Okay, strange language. B'Shelek, in the snow, Yeshov Sim Yesh Matzim. Some forbid and some permit. But Rabbi Avigdor lo Ratzali told B'Shelek Avigdor Shastrach. Rabbi Avigdor, one of B'Shelek, did not want to do this time with snow, even in a difficult situation. The kavanah in the meaning is these rok Shelek the achas to throw snow on one hand, and then achar kach. And then throw snow on the second hand, and to rub them until the water dissolves and becomes water, melts and becomes water. But to table your hands in a pot of snow which has 40 sub sheets is completely mutter. Sharei feel is called goof, even for the entire body. Harbe matirim, we know Shelek works according to many places. They're shop. This time goes, and therefore it's a kavachomesh this the dime. And so Tazar Mishlam will see Simon Kuf Samasiv Tezvav. The Shuvah writes that if you chopped up the snow, then you can use it. But if you didn't chop it up, I guess then I'm not sure why, because snow, whether you hold it chopped up, but if you didn't chop it up, you shouldn't use it. The Bialocha does write in any event that you should not do Tfilas Yadayim by. No, something else. Never mind. Yeshua writes that even if the snow is not gathered in one place, but it's on like in a pile, but it's flush on the ground, and it's very much dissolved, melted, as long as it's 40 saw connected, unified, so then you can table your hands in it. Nevertheless, it should be enough to cover his hands, the place where he dunks them in, which is totally logical. You told me Mayim Yado, you shouldn't take water from the river in one hand. You then put it on the second hand. You shan't call netila. There's neither netila, which requires a keli, nor tvila. The tila mikli. The tila is from a kli, but kan legal kli. There's no kli. The other achas be tvila, but one hand with tvila. The other has been netila de kli. Mutar, the other taros that works. One by tvila, one by tila. But might be the other ain't so that be shnei pamim. Somebody who goes to the tefillah time does not need to do it twice. They ain't talking about netila. That you only need by netila. First the toilet to make make the hands pure, and then take off the water which made them pure. It's so you only call that we're using less than ravias in one shot. But now we pour full ravias. Certainly not when you do tefillah. We don't need to wipe. Dry them. You don't have to lift up your hands. So that's what I tell you about where the water is tamei, which does not apply to situations where you do tefillas yadayim. The Mishnah writes, by the previous sif, he says that water you can use the snow even without chopping up. Okay, so not like we said before. The Mishnah says that somebody who's matbil his hands, even though he doesn't require drying hands, according to strict law, Mogen Avram says that somebody who is sensitive and gets disgusted by eating with wet hands, he should dry his hands first. Contrary to some people's opinion, when you toivel your hands, don't make the bracha al tefillas yadayim, but rather al tefillas yadayim. And the tila, because the primary takana was the tila, which means taking a keli and pouring it. Included in the tila is certainly tefillah, so we derive it indirectly. But the bracha is like the primary takana. Some say the bracha al tefillas yadayim. They do make a bracha al tefillas yadayim. V'chein ikar. Oh, Arukh HaShulchan says no. On the contrary, you should say out in the tefillah yadayim. Echem and netila b'nei notes. I can say netila if you're not being noito. Some say dim tava, but my makshem netila yadayim. If you wash your hands in water which is kosher netila yadayim, mevarach on netila yadayim, make a bracha netila yadayim. Being psulim netila, if those one of the types of water which are possible for netila, she's barbecue nabah, as we explain next sermon. Mevarach al tefillah yadayim. In bracha al tefillah yadayim. That's the Mogen Avram. Do you have a kamaravi? Do you have a kamaravi? It works the other way. Biyado achas b'tila, biyado achas b'tila. Like I said before, one hand with the tila, one hand with tefillah. In that case, b'adi bracha al tefillah, I still make a bracha al tefillah yadayim. Mishnah Berurah says that the Achrayim hold like the mechaber to make bracha al netila yadayim, except in the case where the water it would not be good for netila and only good for tefillah, then you should make a bracha al tefillah yadayim. Simon Klub Samach, Ezemaik Shem with the Tilas Daim, Ezeb which are kosher, which are apostle. Of course, the Rama, Pergvav, Brachas, Din Zayin, Arba, Dvarim, Potzah, Zayin, the fourth thing should make render water unfit for Tilas Daim. Shine Mara, they're discolored. Begilui, they're left revealed overnight. Asiyas Machman, you did work with them. Have said, Shemoneh, Etzabehemus, Lishtoswe. And loss of water, the water is so, degraded that animals won't drink from it. Ketza, how so? Water which has changed its appearance, whether it's in a vessel or in the ground, whether somebody fell into them and that, or whether the place, like in the ground, made it muddy, made it dirty. Let's leave muddy out of this. They're apostle. And also they're revealed, place where they're snakes overnight. Nifsum till Sedai now to use to wash a Kalashano. Gili and the leaving it overnight because that's what they eat. And Koshim Sharim, Koshim Sharim after Natila. Nowadays we're not Clashish for Gili because many people are, but we don't have to. According to law, there's one of those kind of snakes among us. And therefore, you can use them to Til Sedai. Uvem is saying you're doing on a cloud and Gili. Arukh says we don't have no idea what Gili has to do, how Gili works. So there's no stakes among us. So the Mishnah Berurah says if even somebody who's careful not to drink from Mayim Bluim is allowed to wash Mayim Bluim. So they leave water overnight by your bed. In the morning you can use it, even if it was not covered overnight. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. Whether it's in the ground, play about drawn water in the ground, not mikvah water. But and it's going to opinion the Mayim Shumish the drawn water in the ground. If they have 40 saw, ain't leave boil yadayim. You should not turn hands them. The Malcolm should leave boil yadayim. Ain't shine mar apostle because we're actually kosher to Zvila, and even the change in the discoloration would not be an issue. The ancient Marapost of a mikvah shlema, the chain discoloration is not possible in a full mikvah 40 saw. Converted there, Simon Reish Aleph. So he goes according to his opinion, which is described in the previous sif, Simon, the Rambam's that Klariano Shem Shlokim Love. We said that the people argue at him and say that there's a din mikvah even for Tfilas Sedayim, even if it's less than 40 saw. Mishnah writes that the mikvah is not changed because she mara unless the foil fell into it something substance which was colored, actual color, and then dissolved, or a beverage, or a dye, such as red wine and other fruit juices. Base, sometimes possession because of Mara, that way whether somebody found them or where they're placed. Akan Mishnah Yadayim looking on El Nafal Tochel Dio. Mishnah Yadayim only says if there's different types of inks found in the water. Dio Kumus Kankatom Ishtar Maralim, that changed the look of the water. Psulin and Shom. Come goes the Rambam. Nevertheless, so it sounds like Mokom doesn't make a difference. Nevertheless, the Rambam holds the Machmas Makoima who come out Aide Dov Shafal Tochel. It's because the place that also is like something found them. Kevin says it's a mic because the reason that has discoloration not because of the water itself. If they change on their own, said for a long time became green. The Ram doesn't pass it. Even by Paradumra, it says if the water changes, but the shini was internal, then and certainly if it's good for Paraduma, it's good for the Diastan Kushabaran. Gimel, Fisa Tmuimo Dibri Atur Shon Sif Aleph. So that makes it's difficult. Because they write Mind Shishtan Mariam, one which no longer looks the same. Regardless of the cause, something else which fell into them. It really is long for it this week. Okay. Whether because of their place, psulim. We know who lives so from where he gets the psul, but they change because of some intrinsic issue. Fargo issues first masses the pasuk shem they paskin that they are kosher, not like the Shulchan Aruch. That's the Tazma Gavan Bach. It's like the type of Shulchan Aruch, but the Arukh HaShulchan is makir like the Shulchan Aruch. So you do it because it's so shamayim water which remains in the vessel for a long time until they turn greenish. When you look into that water, you're going to find many flies and worms. That's why they changed in their color. So really, shit is because of something else. I guess algae would be the same issue. It's because it's davracher. The Raya Davar and evidence of this Mishnah part of Shem Shebin the Shtanu Machmas Atzuk Shedin. The Mishnah part says when they change because of their own issue, their kosher. But that the Reish Pag Test Para it says Tan so Shemechatas a plate of part of water. Navatal Shkatzim Matim and creepy coin things fall into the water. Nispaku. And somehow the water, I'm not sure what it means in Nispaku. They was split apart. I guess that's about the Shratzim. I don't know. The Shinstein Mariyasam of the Marine or if the water changes colors, psulim. The water is possible. So you see water changes by creepy crawly things and it's no good. Right? So but why is that mentioned in a Perikhes? When it talks about the psul of Machmas Atzmon. Elevada, that's not possible Machmas Atzmon. Elevada is Shom Meyer Ben Meyer. So he says that there it's about a spring. The flowing water doesn't change by creepy crawly things. But in standing water in a plate, it does change that way by the creepy crawly things. Another piece of evidence of the Shal Reb Sheshes Lam Meimar. Reb Sheshes says Kapad Kabdisu Chazusa are concerned with how the water looks. Amalei in, yes, Hayin Sham. The question is difficult. Is a Shelahi? What's the question? Mishnah Foreshes the Perakam the Yadayim. It's explicit Mishnah that water would change colors is no good. So taste this Varosh. Listen to Rosh answer. The Mishnah Yeshua the Mari the Truma. Perhaps the Mishnah is talking about the Yadayim say about for Truma Hayin Sham. They move on cloud doesn't make any sense. So called him Shabsham Mein Bechulin. All the halachas there in the Mishnah are about Chulin. Platur Shulchan as is Shabbat B'Shitas, but according to Shulchan it works out very well simply. The Mishnah my Rei I did over Acher. Just talking about ways by something else. I did Yokumus Chulei by ink etc. What's Kosabdu? Fushach Allah Chazusa Machleas Atzum. He asked them when to change not because something fell because on their own they changed. Formally said the Kabdinan. We are concerned about this and must see attack which Kosavti that if it's stationary water, all sorts of creepy clothing cause the change. He says, Lach Lamaisa, stationary water, changes internally, intrinsically, still possible. As aids in Machmas Atzma, because if you look deep, it's not Machmas Atzma. Mishnah Berurah says the Rambam doesn't mention it's possible unless Nishtan Chaskov Davar Acher, Nochi, Rachmanim agree that, and they hold it's mutter, Nishtan Machmas Atzma. It's just that if it stands in a disgusting place, and that's why the water changed, and from what they look like, so it's possible that that's considered to be Nishtan and Machmas Mekoimon, and therefore it's possible. Dalit. Asiyas Malacha Ketzad. How is it possible? How is water possible? Because it was used for Malacha. It says, Asamay Malacha, if you use them for work, or Shishar Ben Pita, or you soak your bread in them, psulim, they're possible. You use them to wash vessels. Or Shemicha Ben Samira, so use them to smooth, to clean, not smooth, to clean your graduated cylinders. Is possible? They even came chadashim, but if you use them to wash vessels which are new, mudachim, already washed, mutarim, then that's okay. Ksherim, ayin sham. Ocean sham. We said also that mayim shenicham anachtum adbimas kuskos, water which a baker uses to dunk his pastries are puzzle. You just use them to rinse his hands. He's kosher. They're kosher ayin sham. This is what it means. Asmei malacha. If you them work, mashit tzorich la malacha. When they need to be used for the work, mashkin, such as use them to cool down other liquids. Or shore a piece or stuck your bread in it. Or the kalim where you use it for vessels, to wash vessels, should tzrichim adacha, which have to be washed. Okay, Nechemid also used it to wipe down, to clean out your weights, cylinders. Shabak shore mashkin, where there's some stuff got stuck on. Some of the beverages, glucose, or use it to dip in pastries. In all these cases, the water was necessary for this purpose. Mikre melacha, it's called melacha. It's like refuse water, like sewage water. Some of this I'm no good for washing. When you wash, clean what you're ready to clean, or the new kalim, then you don't really need the melacha. They're kosher. That's not called melacha. And the baker who rinses his hand in water, even though he has to rinse his hands, nevertheless, the water which he needs, he took it out when he washed his hands. Whatever's left is not considered to be melacha done to it. Vine sif ches. Mishnah Berurah adds if the new kalim did have some sand or something in them which has to be cleaned out, that's called you need to use water, and that would be possible.